7 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Mrs. Coleman, would you please lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, let the record show Mr. Miller and Mr. Downer absent, all in the board members present. Mr. Board, has public notice been given?
Yes, it has.
Thank you. On to agenda item 3, shout out celebrations.
Okay, so as we continue this is an opportunity for folks to give a quick shout out or a celebration to our staff, our students, or anything school related. I've got a couple of them here. We'll announce them and have them come on up. Why don't we start with Dwayne Welty? Come on up. Mr. Welty, I believe I turned the microphone on, but is that light on that microphone?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yes, it is.
perfect. Go ahead.
All right, good evening, and I thank the board for allowing me to speak here. My name is Dwayne Welty. I currently serve as president of the board of the Richland County Performing Arts Council. We are in the process of preserving and revitalizing the city auditorium. It's a very large project, and we are a 501c3, so we rely on donations and volunteer work. We basically have no budget, so any of those things are appreciated. Recently, one of our projects, we've had a couple of them. One was removing a dilapidated fire escape, and the other is removing approximately 500 seats from the city auditorium. Normally, this work is done by members of the board. There's 10 of us. They're about my age. So youth is a help. So I would like to commend Riley Blair and the Tech Ed department and Andrew Troxel and the football team for their volunteer work. It took what would have been days, if not weeks, and turned it into mere hours. So it's greatly appreciated. But more importantly, I think, is the volunteerism that they promote is what we need for our leaders of tomorrow. So much appreciated. Glad to see this school district promoting that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lemke. Hi, Lemke, the principal.
Good evening. I've got 3. We'll start with 2 from Richland Center High School and then 1 from the primary school from Miss Veronica. So the first one first gentleman I'd like to shout out is sitting behind me, Mr. Bailing, Senior Bailing. He is in first year as our student council advisor, and homecoming week just wrapped up. And you would have not known that it was his first week running a homecoming. He did a fantastic job. Everything went very well. It's one of those things in the community that if something goes wrong, everyone sees it. And sure, there were certainly minor things along the way that could always improvement. But one of Mr. Bailing's strengths is he's open to feedback and working to improve those things. And it was just a great homecoming through and through. Mr. Bailing also turned it over to student council a lot of the way and let them run with it and let their ideas flow. And that was really refreshing to see. And student council did a great job. My second one from the high school is also homecoming related. It's just a general shout out for the student body. The excitement and the energy in this building was something I've never seen. It was, especially last Friday, throughout the chaos in the auditorium and the gym and our different skits and activities. It was amazing. The energy was super high. We had Mrs. Perkins and I had a couple of veterans of 30+ years. One that's relatively new to the district that came up to us and said, "I've never seen anything like this. This is amazing." Another one that's been in this building their entire career and said, "I've never seen anything quite like this homecoming. This was truly special, it was truly amazing, and it was all credit to our students' energy and excitement." We watched students that hardly engage in anything last year, really involved in all the activities. So it was great to see. I'll read one from Miss Veronica primary school. She writes, "I want to give a shout out to the 2 paraprofessionals, Miss Salisbury and Miss Emily, that joined my classroom to support students. They do so many things behind the scenes that sometimes go unnoticed. They're always willing to step in when issues arise in any situation. They put out many flyers, which then helps our classroom run smoother. They also notice when teachers need that extra little pick-me-up. They noticed I was having an extra tricky day last week, and they both left treats on my desk. It turned my day completely around. I couldn't do my job without them. That's from Miss Bronick about Miss Salisbury and Miss Emily. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sheila Troxel.
Good evening, I'm wearing a different hat right now. I am the president of the Richland Center Kiwanis Club. And tonight, on behalf of our club, we would like to give a shout out to the key club members and their advisor, Miss Lizzie Forehand. We work 4 long days at the Richland County Fair, which is our biggest fundraiser for our backpack program, which helps families get a backpack filled with all their school supplies. We honestly couldn't do it without the key club members' help. Recently, we had our pancake supper, which is our fundraiser for our Coats for Kids project, so every child has a warm coat for winter. There were several key club members there to help us serve and clean up. I have watched them park cars from the Richland County Dairy Breakfast, even during a huge downpour. They help with Pumpkin Fest, hosting games for area children, and they help us do roadside cleanup twice a year, which is a true blessing that they take the high banks and the ditches, so us older folks don't have to do it. These are just a few of the things I know they are involved in. I think it is awesome that Lizzie Forehand was involved as a member of Key Club when she was going to school here and is now getting students to be a part of that club that gives so much back to our community. I would also like to give a shout out to Mrs. Tiffany Boyarski and her AP students. For at least the last 3 years, Mrs. Boyarski has contacted me to give her ideas on how her AP students could give back to the community. They have cleaned weeds in front of area businesses downtown. They have helped paint buildings in the downtown area that needed help sprucing up. And most recently, they have put flags on the veterans' graves for Memorial Day. I think it is a wonderful way to show our youth how important it is to get involved in their community. The thing of it is, even though the jobs sometimes weren't the most fun, I have never heard one of them complain. So kudos to Mrs. Boyarski and the AP students. Lastly, I wanted to say how much fun homecoming was. I really don't think anything was more special, though, than Mrs. Sierra Calabria and her 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students sing our school song at the homecoming game. There is just nothing more beautiful than listening to children sing, and they did an awesome job. Then to be followed by Mr. Jeff Barry.
Mr. Tanner Bailey.
I promised Lemke and I did not plan this. I did want to give a shout out to the student council. As Mr. Lemke mentioned, I did put a lot of homecoming on them this year. It is their council, it's not my council by any means. So I want to shout out student council for the amazing work that they did. Planning, putting everything together, making sure everything ran as smooth as it could. I don't think we could have done any better than what we did. So if you haven't already responded to that improvement survey, please do. That's something that we always want to be able to grow our program and to make sure that the district knows that we're here for you guys as well too. So thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you. And finally, I have one that was submitted to me that, and they asked if I would read this for them. So this is from Liz Niemeyer. Liz is a choral teacher up here at the high school. And this is what she had sent to me. She said, "This school year has been the best of my career, and a lot of that is thanks to Liz and Ryan. They have not only been physically present, but also quick to address behaviors in a way that supports the teacher in upholding high expectations, while also ultimately benefiting the student. And speaking of feeling supported, there was one time I'd like to highlight. I had been struggling with my EE and decided to email Liz and Ryan asking for help. Ryan replied that evening saying that they would do their best to reach out, but they had a few meetings the next day. Nonetheless, Liz popped into my office, which is not just around the corner, mind you, early the next morning. She gave me guidance and I was able to check EE off my to-do list. Not everyone will find this noteworthy, but when you are in the first month of school, knowing that you are not alone is important. The quick response from Ryan and the intentional visit from Liz set me up for success. We have 200 choir students that appreciate a happy director. Thank you, Liz Niemeyer. With that, I know a few people had joined late. Is there anyone else who would like to give a shout out? That didn't get a chance to let me know in advance. Okay, awesome. It's great to hear such recognition from folks recognizing the great things that our students and staff are doing. So thank you for that. Mr. Armihan, I'll turn it back to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gordon. On to agenda item 4, public comment. Per policy 0167.3, anyone wishing to participate in the period of public comment must be a resident of the Richland School District, the parent or legal guardian of an enrolled district student or an enrolled district student. Persons wishing to participate must be physically present at the meeting and must register in advance. A total time allotment of 30 minutes will begin public comment. Each participant shall be given 3 minutes to address the board. Speakers not permitted to make inflammatory comments, use inappropriate language or gestures, attack specific persons, or make a specific person subject to their remarks. Please see policy 0167.3 for a complete list of requirements and restrictions. If a person is unable to adhere to these rules, they may be directed to end their comments. Mrs. Coleman?
No one.
Yep. On to agenda item 5, reports. District Administrator's report.
Okay, just got a few things to announce. Before I do, I know there were several people who gave shout outs. If anybody wants to, leave, you're welcome to stay, but you won't offend me in any way if you want to step out at this particular moment, but you're welcome to stay. You have to stay. With that said, just a few things. This is Board Appreciation Week, and so board, on behalf of our school district, we did get some gifts for you. They're at your table. We do truly appreciate all that you do. This is a volunteer job. You're elected or appointed by the public, but it does take time, and you all do a wonderful job supporting our students and our staff and our school district. So thank you so much. Okay, then finally, just a couple of dates. Okay, we have our annual meeting coming up on October 20th. That is a Monday, and that annual meeting will start at 6:30. That is a date and time that is set last year at the annual meeting. So one of the things we will be doing this year at the annual meeting is setting next year's date, and it's chiseled in stone. So be thinking about that if you want to make any changes to that. This is a meeting of the entire stakeholders of the school district. It's not a meeting of the board. So any board members are welcome to attend, but when you attend, you're attending as members of the public, all right? And you have the exact same, you sit in the audience with the public, and you have the exact same rights as someone from the public. There are no special rights as a board member. One of the very first things I will call the meeting to order, and then the members that are present, the public that is present, will elect a chair, and that chairperson will run the meeting from that point forward. So just know you're welcome to attend as residents of the Richland School District, but you would be acting as a resident and not as a board member at the end. So again, that is on Monday, October 20th, starting at 6:30 in this room right here, the high school IMC. Then there is no meeting on October 22nd, because that meeting got moved, at the last board meeting got moved until October 29th, which is technically the 5th Wednesday of the month. But that is a regular scheduled board meeting, but something special happens at that meeting. Every school district in the state of Wisconsin has to adopt their budget and set their levy no later than November 1st. And so we are doing it at that meeting on October 29th. That'll be part of the agenda where you will make the final approvals to the budget and then set the tax levy, which will then be submitted to the municipalities, and they would collect that levy in the form of property taxes later on. So that will start at 7 o'clock our normal time, but it will be on Wednesday, October 29th. That is all I had. Are there any questions from the board? Okay, thank you so much. And again, thank you for all you do with Board Appreciation Week. Not just appreciate you this week, but all 52 weeks of the year. Sincerely, thank you.
Student Council report.
Hello, my name is David Dadone, and we would like to talk about and give an update on the student council and everything we've been working on. Homecoming week was a big success. We had a strong participation from students across all grade levels, and the energy throughout the week was amazing. Each of the spirit days, we saw great involvement, and it was clear that students were excited to show off their student pride with the dress-up days. Our pep rally went smoothly and really helped boost their school spirit. The performances and class competitions kept everyone engaged, and it was great to see many students and staff come together for some friendly competition. The talent and skit show was also a highlight. We had a wide variety of performances, and it was a great way to showcase the creativity and talent within our student body. The homecoming parade brought the community together once again with strong participation from clubs, teams, and local groups. Everything ran on schedule, and the turnout from the community was fantastic. Finally, the homecoming dance was a great way to close out the week. Attendance was high, the decorations were well received, and the students had a fun and positive experience. Looking ahead, our next major event is our first blood drive of the year, which will be held on October 29th. We are currently working on signups and advertising to make sure everything runs smoothly. Overall, it's been a busy but rewarding start to the school year. We're proud of how our events have gone so far, and we're looking forward to keeping that momentum going. And also, if we're doing shout outs, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Bailing, who is first year of head of student council. And as he said previously, he's made it sure that it's a student council, not a Mr. Bailing council. And that's not to say he hasn't done everything. He's done everything he needed to and more. I've asked him plenty of questions, and he's always happy to respond, but he's placed a lot of the responsibility on us. Since we decided we wanted to be in student council, he makes sure that we are the ones that are obligated to do what we need to do, not him. So on behalf of student council, I'd like to thank you for your leadership and being there for us and guiding us in the right direction. So thank you.
Thank you.
The seclusion and restraint report.
Okay, so this and the next three agenda items all have videos. Hopefully the board got a chance to view those videos. This is an annual report that we are obligated to give to the board by DPI. And Mr. Josem had given the seclusion and restraint report, indicated that we had a handful of incidents involving restraint and seclusion with a few students last year. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them, or if you think about questions later on, you're welcome to email me and certainly get you the answer. But are there any questions from the board regarding that? Okay, thank you.
RCPS report.
Similarly, hopefully you got a chance to watch the video presentation from Amy. She highlighted some things that were going on down at the primary school regarding construction, the curriculum that they're using, the Hornet Way, which is what they call where they've got above the line and below the line expectations. And then she gave some shout outs to some of the wonderful staff and then some thank yous at the end as well. But again, if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them or relay them to Mrs. Hardy and get you the answers to those questions. Any? Okay, thank you.
RCIS report.
Okay, Mr. Armijo gave a report at the intermediate school. There were some technology issues. The link wasn't valid until later today. And so I'm going to keep this on the agenda for the October 29th, just to make sure that everyone got a chance to review it. So with that, I would ask the board president to postpone this until the 29th.
Yes, we can put on the 20th agenda. The RCHS report.
And then the high school, co-principals Ryan Lemke and Liz Perkins gave a report. They highlighted some things around the first day of school. Had a senior sunrise, which I thought was pretty neat. Highlighted some clubs and activities. They had a guest speaker, Brady Ewing, came in. Talked a lot about the sports and homecoming events. The staff won the volleyball tournament. I don't know if you caught that or not, but and then shout out to the student council and just general staff and students for their behaviors. Any questions? Mr. Lemke is here. He's welcome to answer any as well.
I guess the only suggestion I would have is to get Liz a step stool or something so that you can see more than just her eyeballs.
You noticed that.
That's the only thing I had. It was great, thank you.
Or if we just simply move the camera down.
Or set the camera down for Liz and we just have to squat down a little bit, maybe.
Thank you, Grant.
She'll appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, on to the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes of September 24th, 2025?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Billing. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Troxel. Discussion? Mr. Billing?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye. All right, on to financial items, approval of statement of cash and invoices. Mr. Miller is not here. Can you do that, Mr. Miller? Can you read that off?
I move to approve the statement of cash dated October 8th, 2025, and approve Community First General Checking Account checks number 87534 through 87647, ACH number 2526-03664 through 2526-03810, ETF number 2025-00065 through 2025-00079, minus voided checks for a net total $948,310. Nope, I take that back. That, I'm showing 948 million. Or do we have a decimal point that's in the wrong spot?
Yes, I'm seeing the same thing too.
Bosworth, would you happen to have the?
So we have $948,310.82.
Okay.
This is for the purpose of general operating costs of the district.
Motion made by Mr. Blainer. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mrs. Sharp. Mr. Bosworth, anything you want to point out or add?
Nothing to add tonight.
Thank you. Discussion? Mrs. Sharp?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Mrs. Coleman, consent agenda items.
Motion to approve the consent agenda items, motion to accept the donation of money valued at approximately $500 from McCreath Orthodontics awarded to our CPS on behalf of Megan Clerkin. Motion to accept the donation of school supplies valued at approximately $150 from American Legion Auxiliary Unit 13. Motion to waive policy 5851, school events on Wednesdays, Sundays, and holidays to allow the Strengthening Families Program to meet after 7 p.m. during their 2025-2026 school year as presented. Motion to approve the 2025-26 bus routes as presented. Motion to approve the use of land as presented in the document for Ricky Burkhammer for 2025. Motion to approve the partial overload for Deanna LaSavage from September 22nd, 2025 until no longer needed as presented. Motion to approve 2 open enrollment in applications and 5 open enrollment out applications for the 2025-26 school year as presented.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion made by Ms. Troxel. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mrs. Thompson. Mr. Porter, anything you want to call out or add?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Discussion?
I guess the only question that I have is on the UW Extension landowner's statement. So if that wants to continue for the 2026 year, we have to bring this up again at the beginning of the 2026 year. This is just through the end of the calendar year.
That is correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Mrs. Thompson?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to thank McCreath Orthodontics and the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 13 for their generous donations. Is there a motion to approve the modified agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Billy, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Sharp, discussion? Mrs. Troxel?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
On to information and discussion items, district vacancies and appointments.
Okay, so you can see there that we have 4 openings. We've got a 4K early childhood aide. Those interviews are happening, I believe, tomorrow, possibly Friday. We also have a night custodian. We're in the process. We've got an interview scheduled later this week that's open until filled. And then we've got 2 positions, the DFC project coordinator and the administrative assistant to the business office, both on hold. The administrative assistant to the business office, we're looking at some internal structuring, so we make sure that we can really get the jobs the way we want them in there, and so we're holding off on that. And the DFC, we've had that position posted for a while. I'm going to be meeting with Betsy Racer next week, and I'm going to, if all goes well, I'm going to be bringing a plan to the board on October 29th at our next board meeting. And that may include needing to eliminate that position, but we're hoping we can come up with some options as well. So we'll keep you posted, but we do plan on trying to take some actions so we have a definitive future or no future on the 29th. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you.
The notification of waiving policy 5851, school events on Wednesdays, Sundays, and holidays.
Okay, so I believe last April, last April, the board had changed the policy and granted the district administrator the ability to handle these Sundays, Wednesdays, holiday requests as they come in. And then when that happens, because of timeliness, when that happens, then to notify the parents. So that's what happened in this situation. The FFA had submitted it at the end of September. I didn't get it on for the October meeting. We had to give them, they had to make reservations and do all the bookings, so I approved it, making sure that I'm bringing it to you for approval. So there's 12 opportunities for me to approve. This is one of them, and I will continue to do so. So it's just that notification that I've approved that for that trip for the FFA. Thank you.
All right, the 2025-26 third Friday membership count updates.
Okay, I'm going to move to the podium. Here with me. Okay, so this is our official third Friday in September count that is submitted to DPI. This is our enrollment. This is a big day for all school districts in Wisconsin, certainly a big day for us because we've made it a priority to try to bring back some students and try to keep as many resident students as we can. So here are the final official numbers for September. Now keep in mind, we're a very transient community. We have students coming and some going all the time, students moving in. And just this week, we had a couple that enrolled. This is just a snapshot in time. This is the third Friday count. There's 2 official counts, one in September and then the second Friday in January. So this is just as it relates to that third Friday pupil count in September. So when we start, we have to first start with the premise that where were we at last year? Okay, and so this is our official January pupil count from our official count in 24-25. We had, at that time, butts and seats, actually educating students, 1,150 students at that time. And so we start from that, and then from there, we draw a line right before 4K, and we take all of those 4K through grade 12, and we push those students forward 1 grade, right? Because that's where they're at this school year, okay? So we move 2nd grade to 3rd grade, 4th grade to 5th grade, 8th grade to 9th grade, et cetera. And then we eliminate the 12th graders because they're graduated. They're not here this year. Okay, as much as they would love to come back, they're not. All right. So that's 107 students that graduated in or in that class that were in the graduating class of 2025 that are no longer part of our school district. So that has to come off. So if we push everybody forward, then we've got to fill in on the back end, and we make 2 assumptions based on what we have for screening counts and what we have for our census counts. And at the EC level, the 3-year-old early childhood program, we put in a number of 12, okay? And at the 4K level, we put in a number of 65. That's been kind of a standing number that we've used. It's typically right at that or slightly above or slightly below, so we feel it's a very good estimate. So if you consider all of that, our pupil count for this year, if we just assume everybody stayed where they were at, we didn't gain any students, we didn't lose any students, with the exception of those seniors, and replacing them with 65 4Kers, we should have been at 1,105 students this year, or a decline of 45 students, all right? That's our baseline. Anything better than -45 is a win, meaning we brought some students back. Anything worse than -45 means we lost them, all right? Because we have to account for 107 students leaving and 65 coming in, all right? So -45, that's the number we're shooting for, or better. All right, our actual pupil counts, again, this was done on the third Friday count in September. And the numbers, while they're by grades, they do include all of our programs. So a second grade will certainly include the students at the primary school, but it will also include any resident students that we have in the iThrive program, any students that we have in the Hive program, or any of our alternative education options. So it's all inclusive. All right, so blue bars are the projected numbers that I just shared with you. Orange bars are actual pupil count numbers. So at the primary school, or excuse me, at the EC through grade 2, we ended up +2. Okay, and you can see that in grades 1 and 2, we gained some students back from what we should have had from those cohort classes the previous year. So positive news in the lower levels, we were +2. In grades 3 through 6, you can see that we lost a few students moving from grade 2 to 3. But we gained students in 4, 5, and 6. We were +24 in that grade span, grades 3 through 6. And then at the high school level, again, you can see almost all of these bars, the orange bars higher than projections, with the exception of our new senior class where we dropped 1 student. Across the board there, grades 7 through 12, we were +44 students. Okay, now I will point out a couple of things. One, our 9th grade students, we will always see, or typically have always seen, an increase in our 9th graders because of the local private school, St. Mary's, that only educates students through 8th grade. We typically always see an influx of those students joining us at 9th grade. However, in recent years, we've also seen a trend at the 7th grade level, typically for that same reason. There are a lot of students who are going to St. Mary's through grade 6. And there's joining our high school to start them off in 7th grade as part of that. So those are 2 areas that we typically see increases in, or certainly have the last couple of years. So again, our baseline, 1,105 students, or dropping 45. Our actual numbers across the board, we were 1,174 students, which is a turnaround of 69 students. Instead of going from -45, we were actually +24 in terms of the number of students in our school district that we are educating. That's phenomenal. Okay, that's not just addressing declining enrollment. That's reversing declining enrollment and actually increasing enrollment. Okay, so I think it's truly incredible that we had there. So where did they come from? All right, let's talk open enrollments a little bit, because this is also a beast that we've got to address. 2024-25, our open enrollment we had 96 students, okay? This is one of the highest numbers that we've had in the past 14 or 15 years. We have typically been right in line with the average, okay, so in terms of a percentage of open enrollment which is typically 85 for a school our size, okay, in terms of a percentage. This 96 was a little bit of an anomaly. We were hoping to be able to continue it, but that was a significant jump. The 251, this is the elephant in the room, right? This is the thing that we've been talking about as a board, as a school district for several years. This was as high as 280 not that long ago. It's been down, it was down to 251, down to, it's a relative term. But we had 251 students that lived in the Richland School District, but were choosing to go to school elsewhere. And this was something we certainly have been trying to address. As a whole, we had a net open enrollment in and out of -155. That's about $1.5 million of expense that's going out that we could have here had we just been neutral. Where were they at this year? 25-26 open enrollment by grade. You can see that they're spread out. We've got obviously some higher numbers here at the upper levels, but our open enrollment in this year was 82. Now that's down 14 from a year ago. Okay, we did have, I believe, 10 students that were in our graduating class. Of that 107, 10 of them were open enrollment in, so they came off the books. All right, I would also say this is in line with where we should be as a state average. Obviously, we would love to see this at 120, but I'm not totally alarmed by the open enrollment in dropping slightly. What I'm really concerned about is the open enrollment out. I do want to make sure that I'm pointing out a couple of things here. One is our 4K. We had 1 student coming into our 4K program this year. And I'm going to come back to 4K in just a little bit, but I want you to kind of earmark that number. One student outside of our district coming in to join our 4K. The other thing I want to point out, slightly covered by the inset picture there, is our senior class. We've got 12 students that are open enrolled in that are part of this year's senior class. So keep that in mind for next year. If we don't gain any more, we're automatically going to drop down to 70, right? As those students in the upper grades are graduating. So, and that would be slightly below average and something that we want to be cognizant of. Our open enrollment out, and again, this is the big 251, big number that we've had here. This is the open enrollment out by grade. And again, when you add all of those up, we're down to 215. Now, 215 is still a huge number, but that is a significant win. That is 36 students that were going to school elsewhere that came back to our school. Okay, 36 this year. So that's a tremendous win. We have a long way to go, but that is a good number. I will also point out, look at our senior class here. We have 19 students that are in the senior classes that live in the Richland School District, going to school somewhere else. Those 19 will fall off, quote unquote, the books next year, which means that if everything stays the same there, this open enrollment out will be under 200 for the first time in 17 years. Okay, and this negative 36, that's the biggest jump that I could find as far back as records. I could find records. Okay, so again, big number that we had there. But I want to come back to that 4K. Look at our 4K. We had 13 students, okay, that lived in the Richland School District that are choosing to go to 4K at another school district. This is where they're starting education, right? Once they start school somewhere else, it's difficult to get them back. We're trying to, but I want the board to consider, we're obviously not making any decisions here, but I think it's time for us to stop asking the question of, can we afford to do all day, every day 4K? Because that's what a lot of our neighboring school districts are. And perhaps ask the question, can we really afford not to, right? And I don't know what that looks like. And I'm not asking the board to act on it or do anything right now. We need to do some internal decisions. Do we have the space for it? What does it look like? But this is something that I think we really have to address. When we have one student coming in to 4K and 13 students leaving, that could be a reason why we've continued to have this open enrollment issue. And I think it's something that we need to thoroughly explore. So I'm just kind of planting the seed there that we're going to be doing some heavy lifting and some data digging on what that looks like and what it could look like for the Richland School District. So here's our summary here. Again, 2024, we were negative 155. This year, we dropped a little bit in open enrollment in, but we did also drop significantly in our number of students that we're losing to other school districts, down to a net negative 133. And that 22 students, just to put that in dollars and cents, that's the equivalent of about $220,000 that will stay in the Richland School District that we can use for our staff and our students and our programming and our property that is not getting paid to neighboring school districts to educate the students who live in our community. So that's a big number and a good celebration. Here is kind of an open enrollment, like where are we losing them? Where are the grades that are happening at? The green arrow, this is just saying, this is by cohort, okay? So if you take the second graders last year, the class of 2035, that data is shown in third grade because that's where they're at now. So when you're looking at those two bars, like in third grade, that is last year's second graders, 25 students open enrolled out. That same cohort, now they're third graders, we're down to 19 students open enrolling out. And so you can see that we've got a good chunk of grades. Most of the grades, my little green thing, most of the grades throughout our orange line is less than what they were last year, which means that we're gaining students back, okay, in nearly every grade. There are a couple of grades that were even or slightly worse. But again, I'll go back to that 4K, that 13, that's a big deal. And as they go to 5K, they're going to be likely to stay at those other schools, and it's more difficult for us to come back. What about homeschool? Wrap it up. Homeschool students that are being educated at home through the homeschool portal, they are not part of our resident count. We don't get aided for them. We don't get money for them. We also don't pay anything. So they're just they're doing school at home, right? If they are a part-time student where they're doing one or two classes in our school district, then we get some part-time revenue for it. So here's some historical data on homeschool students. We had 163 in 23-24, 162 last year, very, very similar. This year, the homeschool portal is at 80, so almost cut in half. And so I think a lot of the students that we're getting back are also from homeschool as well. However, big disclaimer here, okay? Homeschool families have until October 15th to officially file for homeschool status. So while I don't anticipate that number doubling, it is definitely going to increase over the next week. There will be families that just have not done it yet, okay, and they will do it. So that number 80 is not entirely, it's accurate as of today, but it's not accurate in terms of what it's likely to end up. So in summary, our total enrollment, the number of students that we actually have in our school district that we're educating, we were expected to be at 1,005, we're at 1,174, an increase of 24 students year over year, but also an increase of 69 on where we should have been from a projection standpoint. Our open enrollment in, we dropped 14 students there, and our open enrollment out, we dropped 36 students. So overall, outstanding numbers. Again, something we want to keep an eye on, something we want to continue to do. I think this is a tremendous credit to our staff and the leadership at our buildings and our alternative programming. We are becoming a school that people are turning to for alternative options, as well as the culture that's being built in the school district. That's not just my opinion. I see it happening with factual and real data. And so again, we've got a long way to go, but I think this was a huge step in the right direction. Probably one of the biggest steps that this district has made in this regard in several years. So kudos to the staff and to all the students that make our district really awesome. With that, any questions from the board that I can try to answer regarding enrollment, open enrollment, or anything enrollment related? Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Ward, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
With the Hive, do we know if we picked up any of those homeschool kids into the Hive program?
We have. I do not have the exact number, but that is one of the biggest increases that we've seen is in the Hive program, and a good, I don't know, good's a relative term, but a significant number of those families that we've gained have been the homeschool, being able to offer them the education and the curriculum that they're looking for through the virtual program, and still have the flexibility of doing school off campus. So yes, anecdotally, I know that I know it's true. I just don't know the exact numbers.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Yep.
On the action items, authorization for district administrator to approve open enrollment, excuse me, applications.
Okay, so as we've gone through the third Friday count and going through open enrollment process, it's a very extensive process. It's actually very much like Wikipedia, where it is somebody enters data and then it's kind of self-checked by all of the other districts that involves. It's actually kind of a neat process, but when they're doing the open enrollment, it's validated by the other districts. Okay, and so one of the things that we saw happening was the open enrollment applications that come in. So our current process is that students apply for open enrollment, we wait until the next board meeting, we approve it at the board meeting, and then we notify the families that takes place. Well, in doing some research with DPI explicitly says that a student can start school when they are applying for open enrollment in as soon as two things happen. The student is formally accepted and the resident district is notified. Resident district does not need to act on it, they just need to be notified of it. So what I'm asking with this resolution is for the board to consider making a formal resolution to allow the district administrator the ability to grant the open enrollment in applications when they come in as formal application, or excuse me, formal admission into the Richland School District, so that we can then immediately notify the resident school district. And instead of waiting potentially 2 weeks or some of these months coming up where we only have one board meeting a month, instead of waiting that amount of time, we can actually start that student in the next day or the following day and start them very quickly. And some of that is just to make it easier for the families, but it's also, I'll tell you our current process. So when we have a student that is choosing to open enroll out, while we're waiting for that to go to the other boards and get notification, we're doing our darndest to make contact with those families and see, is there any way, anything that we can do? Were you aware of this educational option? Were you aware of this? Trying to get them to stay part of our district. So if other school districts are doing the same, if a school student is looking to come to the Richland School District, I'd like to get them started and part of our school district culture as quickly as possible and not really give them time to try to sway that family back. So what I'm asking is that we adopt a formal resolution to allow that to occur so that we can start students sooner and then bring it to the board for notification and ratification at the next available board meeting, as we currently do. But let's get these students into our building as quickly as possible. That's the thought. But any questions that I can answer? Or turn it over to Mr. Abihan? Okay, good. That's all I have. I'll turn it over to you.
Right, is there a motion to approve a resolution that the Richland School District Board of Education authorizes the district administrator to approve applications for open enrollment into the district on behalf of the board effective immediately? Such approvals shall be reported to the Board of Education at the next regular meeting for ratification of record keeping.
So,
Motion made by Mrs. Sharp. Is there just a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Aye.
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 Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Troxel. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Discussion? Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
There, everybody.